Hello and welcome. This is Project Healing Waters, Fayetteville, North Carolina program, and today's fly is the Frenchie. The material list is we're using a nymph hook, Umpqua, size 14, TMC 3761. We're using 7/64 tungsten slotted beads. Hook size, it'll go on a 12, 14, or 16. We're using fluorescent pink thread, 70 dinar, ultra thread. We're using medium copper wire for the rib. For the weight, we're using 0.015 lead wire. And for the body, we are using pheasant tail. So let's get started. First, we want to take the bead and put it on the hook and place it behind the eye. I like to point this down at first when I'm threading, adding my thread so that bead will just stay connected to that eye, and you can move it afterwards. So let's go ahead and start our thread. Some good secure wraps. That's not coming undone. Okay, here's where I'll come back and I'll straighten up my hook. Now we want to add our lead wire. And you can do this before you put the thread on, and actually that's what I'm going to do. It makes it a lot easier to add the thread. So we're just doing 6 to 8 wraps. Okay. A little more, whatever you want. And if you're not careful, it will come unwrapped on you like that. Let's see if we can still get this to work without snapping. Otherwise, we'll just replace it. But this is fly tying. Working with really soft materials becomes tasking at sometimes. So we're close. Just got to just guide that in there, and I think that'll be it. We don't want it overlapping. We want it kind of flush on the shank, and there we go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add our line behind it and make sure it's nice and secure. And so now let's bring the line back up on the lead so we can properly cinch this down. And then we want to also taper. That's getting away from me. There we go. And we want to taper this body backwards. So we're just going to build up the thread behind the lead and work our way down to where it's a gradual body going to the back of the hook, to the bend. And it looks like we're getting close. And you don't have to go too crazy with this. One, because we're going to add copper wire here in a minute, which will put a little bulge in there, and then as well the pheasant tail will build it up a little bit. But I think that's going to work for what I'm trying to do. So now we'll add our wire. I like to put 2 in and then slide it down behind the lead, and then we're just going to bring this all the way back to the bend of the hook, just before the bend of the hook. And that looks good. And we'll bring it back up so I can hide some of this wire. There we go. Just make sure it's nice and taut to the shank. And then we're just going to bring the thread back. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab several fibers, just a pinch full, and I think the count is like maybe 8 to 12. It really doesn't matter. And then peel it off. And then you want to check. You want to decide what side you want. You want the light brown or the dark brown. It really doesn't matter. But I like to choose the light brown. And also, depending on what side is going to work with me on the shank. Because once I get going, I really do not want to retie it. Okay, just put 2 wraps in there, and let's bring our thread all the way forward to the bead. And got to be careful with this stuff because it is brittle, and definitely want to be careful going around the hook point. And it looks like we just lost another fiber. Just pull them out. What we want to do is really kind of hide the pink and work our way around this hook point. Just take your time and then gradually work your way up. You can use your fingers on top of the shank, but just take your time around that hook point because it will break the fibers. Okay, then once we get there, we can start bringing it up, and you can see how the body kind of gets a little bigger coming up behind the bead, and that's what you want, so you don't have to utilize a lot of thread behind this bead. Alright, once you get it up there behind the bead, go ahead and secure the pheasant tail, and just do 3 to 4 wraps. There we go. Now we can remove the excess. Get it as close as you can without cutting the fibers on the shank as well as your line, and then I like to just come through and make sure it is really synced down. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring our wire. I like to do one on the end right there, and then we want to do spacing wraps. Just make it look good. I like to use a heavy wire for this. One, because I can actually hold it down tight to kind of get into the body of the fly, of the pheasant tail fibers, and it won't break on me. So just do it nice and slowly, and then we're going to bring it up, and then we're going to secure this in with several wraps. And here's where you want to be careful, because you don't want that head to be too big. I mean, the hot spot to be too big. Alright, looks like we're doing pretty good. Just want to make sure that that is secure. Alright, and now we're going to helicopter this off. Okay. And so now the fly's looking good, and all we need to do is we need to build this up a little bit to make it nice and even with the pheasant tail on the back. So just build it up and don't overdo it. Remember, you've got to come back and put in some whip finishes. So that's where we're at now. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Good. And here's our finished fly. I got a little nasty underneath it. We'll cut off. And you just want to put some UV resin or some Sally Hansen on the tip here, on the hot spot, and that is the Frenchie. We use this in Western Carolina quite a bit for all species of trout. We'll do pretty much a hopper dropper with this fly, and it's a very successful fly. I will have the material list in the comment section, and if you have any questions, certainly reach out to us and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. This is Project Healing Waters, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Thanking you very much for watching the video. Hit the like button if you like what you see. I think you can do both. I'm not sure. I'm not too familiar with YouTube, but yeah, hit the like button and let us know we're doing a good job. Thank you very much.